day 3 of this illustration event. I'm Ari here with Kyle Webster. Thanks so much for joining. We've seen so many people joining the last 2 days. Very exciting. And it's been a really jam-packed couple days. The first day, Kyle created this illustration that's now on a t-shirt, which magically happened.
Fun.
And the whole point of this is to create, all of the artists that are here have been creating art that we can print on t-shirts. And we're back. We're on the iPad Pro using Photoshop Sketch today. So
yes.
Kyle, tell us what you're doing.
All right. I'm going to do a couple of things. Working on the iPad, I'm going to be using my own brushes imported from Photoshop. And I wanted to, again, for anybody that missed it the first 2 times, show you how I'm going to bring my brushes over from Photoshop into Adobe Sketch. And it's as simple as this. I am going to, we have my screen up there, everyone can see this. You can see on the right side of the screen, I have my brush that's been selected. It's one of my halftone brushes I was playing with from a couple days ago. And if I just press and hold on that brush, I can go over to where it says Add, and I can import brushes from my Creative Cloud assets. And when I do that, I have a set of brushes right here called Mixed Set Kyle TPL. This is a TPL file I just saved right out of Photoshop using the Tool Preset Manager. And I cobbled together a few interesting brushes. I saved them as one single TPL file. And I'm now just going to select that file. And before I go any further, I want to mention, I'm saving this in a folder in my Creative Cloud assets. I am not trying to click and drag files from my TPL list, my tool presets list, into my actual Creative Cloud library. That's a different process. So everybody, please pay attention to the difference.
So you can access your assets folder through your Creative Cloud desktop app.
Correct, yeah.
And that's where you drag them in.
And I have some exciting news. In a future build of Sketch, you're going to be able to import tool preset files, brush files, directly from Dropbox or other sources as well. So you will not just have to go into your library for your Creative Cloud assets. And that's coming very soon. So that's going to make everything even easier. So for now, this is how you do it. I'm going to click on Mixed Set, and I'm going to say Open, and it's going to be importing the brushes. And this will take a little while. So while it's doing that, we can chat some more. And what I've found is that the performance of the brushes in Sketch is identical to the performance in Photoshop. Now that goes for me personally, and I do want to mention that the thing about the iPad Pro is the pressure curve settings are different from your typical Wacom tablet. And what I mean is Apple's done some work to make it so that the curves are a little tighter, a little stiffer, so to speak, on the low pressure curve end, so that when you're trying to make a light line, you have a lot more room to bear down before you blow out to a heavier line than what you would have with an average Wacom product out of the box. And you know, when you have your Wacom tablet, there are settings that you can adjust to make it so that you either have to bear down more or less to get a fine line or a heavy line. And I just want you to know that I, on a Wacom tablet, have already set my pressure curves to be really tight. And that means that I have to bear down quite a bit to get a heavier line or a thicker line with my brushes. So for me, the adjustment to the iPad Pro, there really isn't one. If any of you have your pressure curves set on the light side, okay, or on the soft side, you'll notice that you have to bear down a little bit more with the iPad Pro. So just know that going into it, and you'll be fine. That's a very small thing to mention. It looks like I've now successfully imported the brushes. It says 15 of them have come in. Great. I'll say done.
Cool. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Hi, Daniel. Kelly, Photoshop Sketch does work with older versions of the iPad, but the Apple Pencil only works with the iPad Pro. So that's the only way that you can get that functionality.
Oh, right. I just want to, for a moment, show people what happens now. these are the brushes I just added, okay, to work with. However, because I've added other brushes recently to work with as well, I can click on the little arrow at the top left of this menu where it says Mixed Set Kyle. Up at the top left there's a little blue arrow, and this shows me the other brushes that I had loaded before, and so I can go between these libraries of brushes that I've imported, these different TPL files, so I can get different brushes I need. So for example, if I select Sketch brushes, okay, then these are going to be the brushes that come with Sketch. If I select Mixed Set, this is the one I just brought in. And if I select Adobe Sketch Import, this is a shared library of brushes from myself and Paul Traney, as you can see. So this has some of my own brushes and some brushes that he's built actually using Adobe Capture. And Kyle Sketch Mini is a library that I imported, I think about 3 or 4 months ago when we were first testing out all this stuff to see if it would work. So we're going to bring that in, see how that works.
Cool.
Now, just so you know, it takes a little minute for it to load in because a lot of the brushes that I design are very heavy. They require a lot of thinking for the graphics processor to make them work properly. So bringing these in takes a little bit of time.
And just to reiterate, we've said it a couple times in the last 2 days, but some of you are just joining. Photoshop Sketch has a pre-release that allows you to import all of your Photoshop brushes, including Kyle's brushes, and we can give you access to this pre-release if you email drawing@adobe.com. So that's really exciting. All you need to do is send that email, you'll get access, and you can start illustrating.
Yeah. Does everybody have that email address?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, it's on the chat. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you look at the chat for this because you have to send an email directly to that email address to be on the list of people who get to test out this build of Sketch. There's no other way to get it, right?
Not right now.
Okay.
So everyone on this live is very lucky.
Right.
Because they can get access.
Tell your friends to tune in so they know about this stuff. All right, today what we're going to do is I'm going to be drawing using a asset that was provided by Paul, and it's a letter C. And to access that, I think I have to go to my shared library. Is that correct, Paul?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So let's see if this is almost finished importing all these fancy brushes. I've still got a spinning circle here, so I'm not sure if it's quite ready. I think it's still coming in. Yeah. My goal here was to bring in some brushes that are really kind of fancy, so to speak, and see how they perform in Sketch. So I've got, for example, some watercolor brushes. I've got some spatter brushes, and I just want to see, can Sketch handle these brushes as well as it's handled the other brushes I've used in Sketch. And what I've found to be truly amazing is that the lag with the brushes is minimal to non-existent, whereas in Photoshop, even though, I mean, Photoshop is my favorite application, bar none, I noticed that if I'm working on a very large file with really big brushes that are super complex, I will occasionally experience some lag. And for some reason, I don't get that in Sketch, so there's just something different there with the hardware. I'm not sure what makes it work that well. So I just want to try this spatter brush super wet because this is a pretty... Oh, works
Whoa.
just fine. Yep.
That's beautiful.
And no lag whatsoever.
Yeah. We got a question about some other hardware. You do use your Wacom tablet. Do you think it's worth it to have a Cintiq Wacom? Marianne asks.
That's a difficult question to answer because the Cintiq, there are several. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's hard to pronounce these things when they're not. You know, they're spelled out a certain way. And you say, I don't know how to say this.
Yeah.
And people say Wacom. Some people say Wacom. And the people who work at the company who I've spoken with all say Wacom. So that's why I say Wacom now. I used to say Wacom. No, I didn't know what it was. Anyway, good question about the tablets. I personally, after having started drawing on a Cintiq tablet now for 4 years, it's been since I bought the first one, it's very hard for me to go back. That experience is wonderful because you really are drawing where you look, And I had made the adjustment to drawing in my lap and looking elsewhere when I was using Intuos Pro, and that was fine. But there is a lot less Command Z going on now that I draw on a Cintiq. So it's really, it all just comes down to budget, and I think one of them is a better option for when you're just getting into digital art and you're not sure if this is something you really want to take seriously. If you know right off the bat, hey, this is what I want to do with my career, I want to draw digitally, then it makes sense to get the best hardware and give yourself a leg up. So, but this is a real investment. You have to think about that expense. And Wacom just released a 16-inch Cintiq model, and this is the first. It's a really good size for somebody who doesn't need the enormous 22 HD or the 24 or the 27 QHD. These really large format Cintiqs. The 16-inch model, I tested it, and I think it's a really great size. It's very comfortable, and it's also not as expensive, so that's a good thing to consider as well.
So how do you feel that Photoshop Sketch compares when you're using the Apple Pencil to those other?
Well, you have a couple of things to think about. For one, the glass on the iPad is very different. It's extremely slick, and you're drawing with a slick plastic tool. So for some people, that feeling of slick plastic on slick glass takes some getting used to when they're used to drawing, especially with a felt nib on their Wacom pen. Now I use the felt nibs on the Wacom pen because I love that soft drag I get when I draw with it. There's a little bit of resistance against the glass, and the glass on the Wacom Cintiqs, there's something about, at least the models that I have, it feels like there's the tiniest bit of tooth or texture to that glass, and when you have that soft nib interacting with that, there's a really natural feel when you draw with it, like pencil on paper, or closer to it anyway. So for me, drawing on the iPad took a little bit of getting used to, just because it is very, very slick. But I think for all these things, you adjust very quickly. Drawing is drawing, so you really, after a while, it took me maybe 10 or 15 minutes to get really used to drawing on this.
Yeah,
it was not a big deal.
Without the lag, it's really cool.
All right, so I just wanted to test out that brush and see how it goes, and so far, great.
Yeah.
Let's see how Splish Splash does. Wonderful. Okay, and that's a rather large spatter brush. By the way, I'm working quite high res here, so if it looks like I'm not, these marks are rather small, they're not. The iPad's resolution, the screen resolution on the iPad Pro is pretty incredible. I think it's 2800 by something, or I don't know. It's a lot.
Brendan asked, do you like making more traditional brushes like these watercolor ones more, or something like a halftone that's more of a concept brush?
I don't have a preference for any particular kind of brush. I just like to challenge myself to make brushes that feel unlike any other kind that you can get out there. And I really like to surprise the users, the customers, people who like my brushes or who just like to draw in Photoshop. I like to make something that kind of makes them stop in their tracks and say, holy cow, I didn't know I could make marks like this in this environment. I like them to be surprised by what's possible. These are all performing great, by the way. I'm very excited about this, because some of these are quite crazy, these brushes. So
yeah,
lovely.
Simon, we're also sad it's the last day.
So some people have tuned in all 3 days. That's pretty neat.
I know. I'm so excited. Let us know if you've been with us all 3 days in the chat. I want to see who's the most loyal viewer. And also let me know if this is your first time joining Kyle and I.
All right. One more quick test here, and then I'll move on. Did I bring in... Oh, yeah. Let's see how this does. All right. This might be... It's already at 500. Oh, yes, it totally
Whoa.
works. Totally
What is
works.
this one called?
Cubist Dream.
Ooh.
So it's one of the concept brushes. It just like makes a bunch of cubist kind of patterns, and
Yeah.
I like changing the colors and then drawing over it or reversing
Wow.
out with white.
Carlotta, Lauren. Oh, everyone's so fast. I can't say everyone's name, but thank you everyone who's been here 3 days.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I know for some people it's a weird time of day.
Welcome, Joachim from Manila. We're happy to have you.
Hey, I've been to Manila.
Yeah, Kyle's been all over, so maybe you can test him with the places you're from to see if he's been there.
Yeah, let's see how many places I've been for people who are from these places.
Thanks, Carlotta.
Let's see where we have people. It's hard for me to draw and also look at the comments.
I
but,
know. I'll let you know.
Anyway, all right, so let me just delete all this. Let's get to work. We've got work to do.
So, are we going to do this letter C?
Yeah. All right, now I need to go find that file. I know that Paul added it to the library. So,
Thanks, you. So, we have a letter that Kyle's going to work on. He's going to work on the letter C, and then the next artists that are going to come and be on the live stream will spell out the rest of the word. Are we going to reveal it, or is it a surprise?
I think it's going to be a cliffhanger.
A
But
cliffhanger.
they will also easily be able to tell.
You'll be able to tell, but you can start guessing what the word's going to be.
all right,
we
Paul,
can
you're
give
gonna.
you,
Have to, oh, sorry, Paul, you're gonna have to tell me where to find this file.
we'll give you the letter C as a clue from now.
All right, am I going into the? Is it a new layer, or am I importing it from?
No, you can go a new layer.
Ethiopia, Johannesburg, Egypt,
My files.
lots of places.
That's where I
That's
just was.
exciting.
Let's see.
And then instead of files, do the drop down.
Oh, okay, I didn't see this.
It'll be libraries.
Aha! Look
But
at this.
I don't know how long it will. Okay, good. Which one did I? That one.
Yay, Manuelo. This. Oh.
There you are.
Here, okay, so.
I
that's what
thought
I need.
you were asking a different question.
Sorry. So that's your.
I'll get
Yeah,
to the
open.
music.
Can I rescale?
Osvaldo,
Can I scale it? a
This
little
is on the
I think
iPad
it might
Pro.
scale it up.
So we are using Photoshop Sketch on the iPad Pro, and this is a pre-release that you can get by emailing drawing@adobe.com, and it includes the functionality of getting Photoshop brushes onto the iPad. Have you been to Wales?
No.
Buff Bites asks.
I've been to I've been to Scotland, and I've been to England.
What
So,
about
close?
Rio?
No, my wife's been to Rio.
Bern, Switzerland.
No, my wife's been to Switzerland. I think. Has she? My parents lived in Panama. Does that count for something?
Osvaldo. Panama. Orlando, Florida?
I've been to Orlando, yes. All right, so while we're importing this file, I have a special friend who wants to say hello.
Oh.
Yeah. I brought someone with me on the trip who's been a very good traveler. And here she is. This is Minou.
Hi, Minou.
Bonjour. Je m'appelle Minou. Je suis un petit chat. This is Minou, and she's a little kitten. And my daughter, Hermione, asked me to bring Minou along on the trip to keep me company. And so Minou's been a good travel partner. I just wanted her to say hello to Hermione and Wolfie back at home.
Aw.
So here she is, and I think she's going to go and...
Does Minou draw?
Yeah, she's everyone in our family likes to draw, so, you know.
That's
Minou
a
just
prerequisite of being in the Webster family.
You have to do it. We just say to them, now is the drawing time, and you draw for an hour and you don't get up. No, we're not like that.
How do you spell that? M-E-N-U?
Minou. I think it's a kitten en français.
Oh.
All right, so Minou's going to say see you later. She's going to just
Bye.
walk over here and take a little nap. All right, so we have our little letter C here now, and I'm able to scale that up, so I'm going to do this. Scale it up.
People liked Minou in the chat.
Maybe Minou will come back later. She's feeling up to it. All right, so here's our letter C. Okay, I like that. That's a good size. All right, so the challenge was given to me to take this letter form and do some interesting things with it. And so I'm going to do that. I got a sketch layer above the C, And I thought the first thing that'd be kind of fun would be to see what I could draw inside this shape. And I thought I might just put some figures in there, all in different poses, doing different things, to sort of fill it up as a starting point. So I might do that first, and then I might try some more painterly, textural things with it. Might even combine the two. In fact, now that I think of it, well, I'll do the figures first. All right, so first I need to get a brush I can draw with. So.
Hi, Everton. Now with the new release of Photoshop Sketch, you can use the same brushes when you continue your work outside the office. So everybody make sure you email drawing@adobe.com to get access to this feature. You'll get access to the pre-release. Jim said he just got your mega pack.
Oh, thank you.
Loves it.
I'm so glad.
Jim, make sure you share some stuff that you create.
Yeah, post it on Twitter. Do we have a hashtag, and what is it?
Yes. So post your artwork designs on Twitter with the hashtag AdobeLive, this hashtag right here on your screen, and we'll be looking at those throughout the day. And we'll be choosing 10 lucky people to win t-shirts with artwork printed on them that was created during the live, such as the t-shirt I'm wearing now. So be sure to share all that with this hashtag on Twitter, and we'd love to see what you create. Oh, is someone sitting there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Andy's wondering if you think traditional drawing methods will ever be phased out by technology such as this.
No.
I had a feeling you would say no.
No. Because we all need variety in our lives. We can't, you can't just do the same thing over and over again. You also can't, you just can't replace that feeling of working with your hands on a real surface, and there's a smell with the paint, and there's chalk in the air and dust or whatever. There's all this nice stuff that happens when you're working with traditional media that, I don't think anybody would want to give that up. At least not me. People might be surprised to know that I still work traditionally, and I love it. So, certainly not something I would ever give up. I just don't know any of my friends who work digitally who don't also draw in a sketchbook or, I think that's crazy talk.
Yeah, you need both. Norsh misses Michael's voice effects. What effects can we do?
Oh, does he have voice effects?
Yeah, he does something with the microphone.
Michael does?
I can do it naturally. I don't need a microphone.
How come I've never seen those? I'm not familiar with these tricks.
He does like echoes and stuff, I think.
Oh, neat.
In the microphone.
Not familiar with those. Okay.
Let's see. What is everyone thinking about on the chat? Hi, Peter from Maine. Gabo says, it's the same with books. That's true. The feeling of turning the page, the feeling of holding the physical book, just like holding your sketchbook, holding the pencil, mixing paint, all that physically is really different.
Yeah. I personally can't stand reading on a screen, but...
So I found the echo switch. So whenever you reach a point where you need to say something really dramatic, just cue me.
Okay.
And we'll do the echo effect.
I'm ready now.
Oh man, you gotta think of something you're gonna say.
Can it be a whole sentence?
Yeah. Yes.
You can now use your Photoshop brushes directly on the iPad using Sketch.
Woo!
Sweet.
I hope that worked because we have no idea.
Yeah, it
I
just
could've
sounded
just
like a
sounded
normal
weird.
voice here.
Morning, William. Oh, Gorm Gear says LOL, so I guess it was funny.
Okay, I guess it worked out.
Ryan asks if you ever do spec work, or are you
Nope.
commissioned?
I never do spec work. Why should I do work for free when I should be paid for my expertise and my talent and my time?
True.
And I mean, come on. I got an email from, what was it? Hard Lemonade, Mike's Hard. It's one of these things. Hey, really like your work. We're doing this campaign where 5 artists get their work printed on a can or something like that. We don't have a budget, but we'll collect all the work, and if you get it printed on the can, you get $5,000 or something like that. So I wrote a very polite reply saying it's ridiculous that I should work for free on the off chance that I might get $5,000 for my time. You know, you don't hire a contractor to come, 10 contractors, hey, come and do a plan for my living room and start construction, and all of you finish 10 living rooms for me, and whichever one I like the best, I'll pay you for it. I mean, maybe not the best example, but it's just, that's a crazy attitude that artists shouldn't be paid for their time, no matter how little. If you work for half an hour, you should be paid for half an hour.
Mm-hmm. Aina-sam, I saw your messages asking about an email. So if you want access to this pre-release of Photoshop Sketch, you email drawing@adobe.com. If you want to share your designs with us, you can share them on Twitter with the hashtag AdobeLive, and we'll be looking at those. And when you're sharing stuff on Twitter, you're in the running to win a t-shirt with some artwork printed on it, such as the one I'm wearing today. This is what Kyle created on the iPad the first day that we did the live. The mysterious woman with her scooter.
We don't know anything about her.
We've known her for 3 days, but we still don't know.
Don't know anything about her, though. What's her story? What is her deal?
Yeah. Mystical Angel says the next person on the sea is going to slide right off. We'll see. We don't know. Vanessa, are you using the pre-release version with the new features? Let us know. And what operating system you're using. To see why you have a problem.
Oh, somebody having a problem bringing tools in, or?
Yeah, she says she can't bring, or she says they can't bring their brushes in.
Oh, they might not be using the assets. They might be trying to bring it in through a library.
Yeah, so
that was
let
a
us
problem we
know
had
what
yesterday.
you're trying to do, and we will help you troubleshoot that. Stefan, I agree. We should all be paid. Kyle, how did you develop so many different styles of drawing? Kyle's been
Just
drawing
playing.
all his life.
Yeah, I'm just playing around. I don't have any one way of doing anything. I think it's so fun to just try and make different kinds of marks and create different languages for yourself.
Mm-hmm. This kind of reminds me of the illustrations in the Shel Silverstein books.
Oh, that's nice. I like Shel Silverstein. Thank you.
The people with stacks of, I don't know if there's something with people stacked on each other or something.
I do like Shel Silverstein.
Yeah, that was very important to me growing up.
Kyle, would you like some more shirts? Do you need a shirt like that design? Do you have that design on the shirt?
This? Yes, I'd love that.
Okay.
I don't know what, a women's medium. What are you wearing? Women's small?
This is small, but
Is
I
it
think,
feeling
yeah,
a
I
little
would,
small? Okay.
a medium would be ideal.
So a women's medium would be nice for my wife. She might like that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul.
Cool.
And we don't have any kid sizes there, do we?
We do.
We do?
Oh, really?
Oh.
I got the numbers for kids. 12, 8, 10.
10 would be good for my daughter. I don't know if my son wants Scooter Girl or not on a shirt.
Why not? She's awesome.
Maybe we could do an 8 and a 10 for the kids. That'd be so cool. Thanks.
That's great.
Wow. See, I'm getting some shirts out of this deal. I like this.
That's why you came, right?
For shirts. Now is to hang out with the cool folks.
Joe asked if you like graphic novels or comics. Are you into that?
Yes, of course. Tintin, my favorite of all time. If you haven't read any of those, they're wonderful. What else? Everything. I love Hellboy. I think Hellboy's amazing. Mike Mignola is quite a treasure. American treasure. Yeah.
There you go. He's totally into them.
I like just all kinds of comics. I don't have time to mention everything I like, but the answer is yes.
Yes. Diego's wondering what you think about visual damage, so your eyes looking at a screen.
Oh, good question. Yeah, I have the brightness set very low on my iPad and also on the devices I use at home. My Cintiq tablet, for example, the brightness is set very, very low, about 45 to 50% brightness. So that really helps me with eye strain. And I get up and take breaks so that it's not a real problem, you know?
Yeah.
You just have to get up and give your eyes a break.
Does it help to have ambient light around? Like if it's really dark and then you have the screen,
Absolutely.
It's worse.
I never have the lights off. It's always, I have all the lights on in my studio. I have the window open so I have daylight. I can't work with a dark room and a bright light in my face. I get a headache and it doesn't feel good. So yeah, do your eyes a favor and don't go nuts with the brightness. So I'm sorry if this is taking a little while, but I have to think about where to put each figure and how to make this. This is like a little puzzle,
And
Yeah.
people feel free can play around with this. See, I just posted the file to the chat.
Oh. So Paul.
Cool.
Do a C and post it to the
I like
Paul
that.
just posted this C on the chat, and you can use it and create any designs you'd like in the C and then post it with the hashtag AdobeLive on Twitter, and we'll take a look. That's really cool. Thanks everyone who's being helpful about explaining how to install the brushes. What is this brush? We didn't say the name.
Oh, this is one of the BlotBot Runny Inker brushes. It's a Runny Inker. It's in the Runny Inker set. I think it's BlotBot Perfecto or something. That's one of my cheapo sets. It's $3.
And at one point it would be cool to show on the iPad how it changes with pressure or speed or
Speed.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any brushes designed to take advantage of that.
Okay.
But that is a feature exclusive to Sketch that's not in Photoshop at the moment. And that what it basically is the speed at which you draw a line, I think, will have some impact on how thick or how thin it is. Am I right about that, Paul? Do you know?
Yeah, and there's settings that you can, if you go on this
Yeah,
slider,
if you go here, let's
it'll
see,
tell
flow, opacity,
you-
scatter, angle. Well, this is for this kind of brush. This is not a brush that was built in Sketch. This is built in
Okay, so it's-
Photoshop.
I feel like I used it, and when I did something like that, it created a different shape.
Spacing. I'm pretty sure I saw something with speed. Maybe not. Maybe I'm imagining that from another build.
Possibly.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll see if we can find that out.
Peter, yes, Sketch will support importing your brushes from Dropbox, etc. in the future. Kyle said that at the beginning in case you missed it. But not with this release yet.
No, but soon.
Very soon.
I want everybody out there to know that the time I've spent here and in the past few months talking to people at Adobe, the amount of work that goes into making this application work as well as it does, it's really astounding, the hours that are put in to try and get, for example, tool presets as an import. It's not as simple as you think, oh, let's just get some tool presets in there. There's so much that has to be done on the back end to make it so that they feel right and they work as nicely as they do when you're in Photoshop. And these are folks who are working really hard to make that possible. So thank you to them. I'm just really excited that all of the people who like the tools that I make can now have this flexibility where they can be working in one environment and then just go mobile and bring those tools with them and work just as comfortably. This is a big deal. So very cool stuff.
And yeah, you can change the parameters based on speed.
Cool. So Paul just gave us the info. I don't know if you could hear him, that you can in fact work with speed as one of the controlling what's the
Factors.
word? That factors. Yeah, you can control stuff with the speed of the brush.
Yeah.
So
Matthew asks, any advice for those wanting to illustrate children's books?
yeah, make a portfolio that would be appealing to somebody who works with who hires artists for that, art directors who work with picture book authors. Don't show them, don't send a postcard of work that's a bunch of decapitated heads. For example, send some cute stuff, send some stuff that shows that you understand how to draw a character that has charm, and that you can draw environments that feel inviting and make a child feel a sense of wonder. Just do the kind of work that you think is appropriate for that market. That same applies for any market. I was fortunate enough to find a wonderful agent for picture book work. I think having an agent for that market is also very helpful, so you might want to investigate that route. But again, it all comes down to the work, so make sure you do work that feels right for the market, I was hoping you'd do a kind of cute little illustration here today if we have time. That might feel a little bit like a picture book sort of thing for a t-shirt design. So we'll see. All right, so I'm still working on this here. I got to now put another person in. Let's see what they're going to do. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, this is a little tricky part.
All right, gotta think. I gotta think. Hang on a minute.
So Bob, thank you for joining. You haven't missed, you came in good time. We are working on the iPad in Photoshop Sketch, and Kyle is using one of his Blotbot brushes, the Runny Ink, and we are going to have one word spelled out by all of the illustrators that are here this week, and we're starting with the letter C. So Kyle's doing his own little letter C version with all these people in it. I think someone's coming.
Hey!
Oh, hi, Minou!
Salut, Minou. Ça va? Oui, ça va bien.
Minou wanted to be in the spotlight. She didn't like that you put her on the side.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais, Minou?
Does Minou speak only French?
Yeah, only French.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Okay.
Ça va, Minou?
I'll have to brush up on my French for Minou.
No, Minou is bilingual. No, trilingual. She speaks German, English, and French.
Wow.
And
cat.
And cat. Meow meow. Yeah.
She can meow in all those languages, too.
That's right. It sounds very different in every language.
Mary says, what about a person on a bike?
I don't want to draw a bike. No
Kyle
thanks.
prefers to draw natural forms, like people and animals. And
If you were here one of the other days, you might have heard me mention that.
he's already drawn two, like this scooter and a Vespa. I think that's enough for this week.
My least favorite things to draw are vehicles of any kind, or followed very closely by buildings of any kind. Do not like buildings.
Benjamin says meow. Minu
Okay.
says meow back.
All right.
That guy's fitting in there.
Doing something interesting there.
So, just to tell you guys about the next things going on, this is our last day, but this isn't the last live stream. So, we have the next one at 11 a.m., Jeanette Liao and Rob Zilla. And then 1 p.m., Chrissy Chung and Orlando Arocena. You can see them now on the screen. And at 3 p.m., we have Aaron Gallagher joining us. So this is the last day, but all these people are going to be back, and they will all be illustrating a letter that will create a word. And you guys can guess what that word's going to be.
I have an idea.
I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. Hi, Christian. Good to see you back. Jordan asks how many toys you have at your work desk, Kyle.
How many toys? Too many toys. Well, what do you mean by toys?
Do you mean like Minu?
I don't know if
other
you mean
cats,
like things to
or-
draw with. I thought you might mean technical things like Cintiq tablets and so on. I'm not
I
sure.
have a feeling that means,
Real toys.
I don't know. Now that I saw Minu, I got distracted. But I had a feeling it was technical stuff.
Oh, well, if you're wondering about like toys, I know a lot of artists have like collectible toys and stuff. I don't have any of that stuff. So if that's what you mean, then no, I don't have any of that. I take it back. I have one. The motorcycle from Akira, Kane does. I bought that in college 20 years ago, and that's in my studio at work at my where I teach. So if you mean that kind of toy, I have one of those. Apart from that,
I think that's actually what Jordan meant.
okay. So there you go. I got that one thing, but I don't like to spend money on that stuff.
Yeah.
I love looking at other people's, and it's cool that they have them, but I also feel like that's a waste of money. I like books, so if I do have some money to spend on something and I want to treat myself, I don't buy a toy, I buy an art book, and that's my favorite thing is art books. So I'll buy a book, a collection, a book that has some collected works of some artist I really love, and so I do have a good-sized library of art books.
That's great.
Yeah, that to me is a good use of my time and my money, whatever.
I think it's really rare that you regret buying a book.
It hasn't happened to me yet.
Yeah.
Any of the books I've bought for my library, they have never wound up going to some used bookstore or anything. I keep them all. I'm really happy to have them. I look at them a lot. They're little treasures, So.
Leonardo is wondering if you've ever worked on a project with art in VR and what your opinion is about
Never.
that.
No, never. I don't know anything about it. I know it's a big deal. I know it's.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
It's a thing.
It's happening.
Everyone's
And it's
talking
big.
about it.
And right now, it doesn't interest me. I look at it and I think it's so far removed from the experience of drawing that I enjoy. This having to now navigate three-dimensional space to inhabit and draw in it. I think it's an interesting it's an interesting idea, but it might be just one step too far away from what I enjoy about making marks and having to work in a 2D space and make that work and make a composition work. The idea of composition in three-dimensional space is completely weird to me. What I love is that problem of having, for example, what we're doing now, we have this space to work with and try and compose something in this. I like having parameters in which to work that are easy to understand. So it's not to say I won't make tools for those software pieces that are out there. I've talked to some folks at KyleBrush about making custom brushes and some other people. So it's something I'm interested in maybe getting into with developing tools. But as far as actually doing drawing in that kind of environment, I don't know if that's something I really want to do. You know what I mean? Like this idea of like drawing in 3D, it doesn't. Maybe it's just me.
Pretty alien. So Guillermo, on the first day, Kyle, since he's left-handed, he changed the orientation of where the tool panel is on Sketch. So it's been easier for him to have the brush panel on the right, so he's not covering it with his hand. And it seems to be working out pretty well, would you say?
Love it.
Yeah. I think Guillermo must be left-handed.
Yeah.
He's asking.
Hello, Lefty.
Anand says, can you squeeze a cat somewhere in here?
Sure, we'll put a cat there.
Yes. You're influencing the art live. This is true live. I might be repetitive, but I just want to make sure everyone who's joining knows what we're doing. Kyle is on an iPad Pro using an Apple Pencil on Photoshop Sketch. This is the new version of Photoshop Sketch that's in pre-release, and we are giving anyone access who wants access by emailing drawing@adobe.com. So when you email that address, you'll be granted that, and you can start experimenting, bringing all your Photoshop brushes into the iPad using Photoshop Sketch. So right now, Kyle's using one of his brushes from the BlotBot series, and it's the Runny Ink. And you can see all of the texture it creates. It's really awesome. Let's see what everyone's saying.
I'm not good at drawing cats like this. This is tricky. Try that again. Try to find the right position. I think I might just squeeze. Let's see.
Remind me what the thing on the end of your pencil is.
This green thing, it just keeps the cap on.
What's it called again?
I don't know.
It has a name.
Cozy.
It's a cozy. So Bob, the doohickey on the pencil is a cozy that keeps the top staying on, because if it falls off, it's just the little charger end that is exposed. And just to reiterate, Kyle's using a Runny Ink brush from his own collection that is now available through Photoshop Sketch. So this app is now the Photoshop brush engine on the iPad, which is very exciting. Oh, there's another couple lefties on the chat. Lefties unite!
Yay! Ari, you're a lefty, right?
No.
You told me about that store though, so I thought you were a
Oh
lefty.
yeah, I
the
just
lefty
know about
store.
the store.
Okay, I thought maybe you were a customer.
I just thought it was a funny place.
The Lefty Emporium.
So what is it called? Lefties.
It's called Lefties, I think, at Fisherman's Wharf. I don't know if it's still there. It's been years.
Simpsons.
Oh,
Lefty store.
Flanders and the Simpsons. Ryan, you should go on KyleBrush.com and see what else Kyle has released. And I think there's new stuff coming next month, right?
February 28th, I've got the halftone brushes coming out.
Oh, awesome.
And you can actually paint with halftones. I'll demonstrate it in a second.
So yeah, he always has new stuff coming out, and it's pretty cool that you can now use it on the iPad.
Indeed.
James asks if you like the feeling of drawing on the iPad.
Very much, yeah. I've gotten used to it. I was saying earlier that it's, at first it's a little slick, but you get used to it very quickly, and then it's great. There's not much of a adjustment period or anything.
It's
Don't. Just
No
regular
screen protector.
No, yeah.
Give it a little more teeth,
No, but if that exists, I'd be interested in such a thing. Do you know about
yeah.
that?
a little more drag.
So Paul's... Sorry, go ahead.
So Paul is saying that there are screen protectors you can get for the iPad to give it a little more tooth because it's a very slick surface, and that might lend it the feel of the Wacom tablet and how that's more satisfying, easier to get used to from a piece of paper to the screen. But let us know in the chat if you know of any good screen protectors like that. Hi Jillian, welcome. We are live illustrating. Let us know if you have any questions. We're on Photoshop Sketch using Kyle's brushes. Hi Pollyanna.
Is that Pollyanna? The Pollyanna? Hello, Pollyanna.
James says this brush reminds him of Warhol's ink blotch drawings.
This is a brayer. Lets you, you know, it's really fun.
That's cool.
If you've ever used a brayer with ink, I've got 4 or 5 of those in the mega pack. And they are fun. What else do we have? Let's see. Alrighty, so I'm trying to build up a little interesting kind of a background here. But I don't know. I'd have to change my library. So I'll go over here.
Yeah.
Get some of these.
Pollyanna says, yes, it's me. Hi from New York Adobe office.
There's one of the halftones. If anyone's interested, you can paint with pressure and actually build up from black all the way to the time.
Really
it's
cool.
absolutely the real deal. So I'm kind of excited, to say the least, that this is now a possibility for Photoshop people and now for Sketch people.
So
Look
this
at
works with the Apple Pencil, the more pressure that you use.
Indeed, really do, as Ned
How
Flanders would
does
say.
it change with the flow? So now you have kind of a medium flow
I don't
setting?
know. I didn't even mess with that. The flow setting comes directly in with the tool preset file. So whatever the flow is set to in Photoshop, it will bring it in and automatically set the flow for you in Sketch.
And then can you change it?
You
in
can.
Sketch?
You can.
Okay.
So you could make some modifications there. But it's nice to have that consistency be there from moving Photoshop right to Sketch, and then boom, I've got what I need.
Yeah.
So
Great.
yeah, this has been the biggest breakthrough I've made in years with brushes, the ability to actually paint halftones like this. Very, very, very excited about it. All right, so let me use this brush. I'll use it. Do some other color here, analogous to this.
Yeah.
And we'll just paint on top of here. And I will size my brush down.
Kane Hollowbone. These brushes are available on KyleBrush.com. The halftone one he just showed is being released next week.
Also, if you buy the screen tone brushes right now on my site, the halftone brushes will be a free update to that set.
Okay.
Which
so
is
you can
amazing because you'll save a lot of money.
So you can buy the screen tone brushes right now, and then next week you will have access to the halftones.
February 28th, whenever that is. Is that next week?
I think it's next Tuesday.
See, I can't even keep
But I
track
don't
of
remember.
when the days
These
are.
days have all meshed together.
Sometime soonish, right?
Yeah.
So see, I'm just using more pressure and I get that pattern to fill right in.
What's the name of this particular halftone brush?
This one is Circle Range Small.
So Akanksha. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. That's the name of the brush. Circle Range Small.
Circle
That
Range
you
Small.
will be able to get on February 28th. Hi, Antonio. So yesterday, Kyle had really good advice for people that were asking about being new illustrators, what kind of hardware they should use. And you were talking about how it's really about the time that you put in getting your technique really good.
Being able to draw well is number one. I think people oftentimes confuse good drawing with good technology. So just be careful that you don't do that.
Hey, Kyle, real fast. You could use the whole canvas. Just FYI.
You can use the rest of the canvas as well.
Oh, I was trying to stay...
But this is perfect. This is exactly what we want.
All right.
We need to define that as a shape.
Gotcha.
And then the rest can be maybe less saturated.
I see. Okay.
So what happens when you hide the C layer?
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, cool.
We definitely see the C. So
Yeah.
We see the C. Ha ha.
C for Kyle.
Yeah, so it
Hey,
might the
wait a
word
second.
might be Kyle. C for Kyle. Nobody guessed that one on the chat. Two World Swings. This app update is in pre-release, and you can get access to it by emailing drawing@adobe.com. That means that it is released right now for you if you send that email, and then you can import your Photoshop brushes. They come with their presets, as Kyle was saying. If they have a particular flow, that flow will be imported. And then when you create something in Photoshop Sketch, you can move it right back into Photoshop on your desktop and keep working on it. It still has those layers. It's still the same file. And then you can export it in whatever format you want or refine it. That's what we did for this lady. He started working on her on Sketch and then moved her into Photoshop on his Wacom tablet and did some more refinements, and then we printed it out onto this t-shirt. So that was very fast. It was super fun. I would say it was easy, but it was easy because Kyle is a very experienced illustrator
Oh, thank you.
and good at improvising.
It all worked out.
Yeah. Hi, RJ Ortiz. I'm glad you found yourself here. I hope this is inspiring for you.
All right, now let's try something else. I'm just playing around, everybody. I don't have a real plan here, just trying to have fun, make some neat stuff happen in the background here. Let's see. Okay, I think I want to shake things up with another kind of unexpected.
blue?
Yeah, something a little.
That looks good.
And let's see. This is one of the halftone brushes, which is super fun.
Mystical Angel, keep guessing. I like your guesses.
I'll use that right here.
Is that the biggest size that brush can be?
Oh no! You size them up, size them down.
Oh, that's coming through a little bit. So everybody, this is our last day with Kyle this week, and we have the rest of the illustrators that have been here throughout the week will be here the rest of the afternoon. And keep sharing your designs on Twitter with the hashtag AdobeLive. We haven't looked at any today, so it might be a good idea to see what you've been sharing.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah. We're working on that. We'll share it soon.
What else do I have in here?
Ezra likes drawing on his iPad. I'm glad. Have you gotten access to the pre-release, Ezra? Let us know if you've been drawing on Photoshop Sketch. Ooh. I love that.
Little rake.
Okay, so we're going to look at some stuff that you've shared on Twitter. And those of you who haven't shared anything yet, be sure to share. And throughout the day, we'll be going on and seeing the stuff that you share with this hashtag. Okay, here we are. Okay, so this guy... Whoa. I thought that was a picture.
Me too.
That's awesome. So this guy was getting tips from Robzilla and Jeanette, and they're live.
Cool.
They're coming on again today at 11, so you can stay tuned to watch them. Oh, I love this. Look at that.
Great question.
Oh, created with your Mega Pack. Look at that ice cream cone.
That's nice.
Yeah, I like how the water is pink. I like those color
great
combos.
color choices there. Great simplified palette, pared down palette. Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, his girlfriend.
I like the blue swirling
Wow.
pattern there too. This is great. People are talented. People are good. People do good art.
Yes.
It's exciting to see. And it's also different, you know? That's nice too. A nice, very simple line drawing.
Yeah, so that was done on Adobe Draw.
First attempt.
First attempt. Very good first attempt, Lisa. That looks great. Keep going. Share what you create. The awkward burger. Using your brushes.
That's cool.
Ooh, spaceman. Is that it looks like
Vector.
an eye, but also looks like a helmet with a person.
It's interesting.
Hmm.
Nice line
Oh,
drawing.
Marion, she's on the chat. That's beautiful.
Really nice. That's
I love the hair. How detailed.
What brush did you use for that?
Yeah, Marion, let us know.
One of my pencils, maybe?
Nice. Good portraits. Thanks everyone for sharing your stuff. Hi Count Zero, good to see you back. So how did you choose that green color?
I don't know.
Did you just go to the color wheel?
Yeah.
Wow. It looks good.
Good. That's a relief. Yeah. I'm really just trying to make an interesting set of marks back here and patterns and things like that. If anyone's interested, this is the Kid Stamp brush. It was an update to the Mega Pack a few weeks ago. It's really fun.
Oh, like a handprint?
Yeah, it's got a fingerprinty kind of look to it, and depending on how you, like if you make one mark, you know, the pattern will show through. But if you make a couple, it'll kind of fill in more. So it just depends on how you use it.
Nice.
But good for this kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm able to just make a mark
Yeah.
here and there, and just make it interesting.
Ryan asks if you have crosshatch brushes.
I do.
This
There's
one
a whole
looks
set. There's a
like-
whole set of them. If you go to my site, there are I think 50 in the pack.
Oh, there you go, Ryan.
Yeah.
You can be all set.
I also have one that'll build up in the halftone brush set. That'll do cross hatching from wider marks, thinner marks, down to thicker marks. There's a demonstration of that either on my Twitter account or on my Instagram. My Twitter is @KyleTWebster. My Instagram is Kyle.T.Webster because I stupidly canceled my Instagram account 5 or 6 years ago when I didn't think Instagram was going anywhere. Then I tried to get my username back and they wouldn't give it to me.
Oh no.
I guess they have some policy about that. I don't know. But
That's too bad.
they wouldn't do it. They refused.
So we're getting a few questions about this version of Sketch. For those of you that are just joining, this is a pre-release of Photoshop Sketch where Kyle has been able to import his brushes. The brushes that you use in Photoshop can now be used in Photoshop Sketch on the iPad. And
This is a big deal, people.
it's pretty big. Everyone's really excited about this. And you can get access to this by emailing drawing@adobe.com. And we will give you access.
Big deal. It is a big deal.
Mark this is coming soon, but you can get access to it right away with the brush importability. So if you email that address that we just posted in the chat, it's yours. So let us know what you make and share it on Twitter.
Alrighty, now I need a new library. Let's go over here, see what we have here. Oops, sorry. What was the one that I... Here we go. Okay. We are going to use... Ooh, maybe Cezanne. I like Cezanne. Cezanne. Let's see how that looks under there. Yeah, I'm going to change... Oops, no, let me change the color to off-white. So we'll start with white, and then we'll just push it one way or the other. Like so.
We give away a t-shirt.
Time to give away a t-shirt. That's exciting. What should we ask? Let's think.
What's Kyle's favorite knock-knock joke? No, we don't want to do that again.
Okay, so... No. I failed so badly at the knock-knock joke. So we're giving away a t-shirt to some lucky person on the chat, and all I need you to do is write in the name of this wonderful little cat right here.
Oh, that's a
Please
challenge.
let us know what her name is if you were watching earlier. It's the French word for cat. Like a cute French word for cat. So type that into the chat.
Kitten.
For kitten. Type that into the chat and you'll be in the running to win a t-shirt just like the one I'm wearing now, which is printed with artwork that illustrators are creating live this week. So let's see the chat go wild.
Bonus question would be, who does this cat belong to?
Yes.
The
Who
name
does
of
the
the
cat
person.
belong
Yeah,
to?
that's a bonus. If anyone can remember the name of the person.
I remember because it's a beautiful name. It's Greek.
Of course.
And
yes,
it's a character in a very famous
Yes.
set of novels and movies.
She was the daughter of Athena, right?
I think so. I don't remember. Okay, people are answering. I love it. Keep going. Let's see who gets to win a t-shirt.
Oh.
And as soon as we say that you've won, make sure that you post your Twitter handle in the chat so we get your details. Because sometimes people forget and then they don't get their prize.
Oh, we don't want that.
Ooh, Mystical Angel remembers the name of the owner.
Aha. Uh-huh.
Good job.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and someone put her last name too.
Oh, very fancy.
Bonus. But to be in the running for the t-shirt, you have to type in her name. The bonus won't get you the t-shirt.
Meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. I'm surprised she's still awake. Usually she'd be napping around this time.
Yeah, look at her.
Cats like
She's
napping.
all full of energy.
Totally alert.
So we're going to choose the winner randomly using Nightbot. And Michael's pressing the button right now. Oh, Anya.
Let me check because maybe she won.
Have you won
Okay.
something before?
Yeah. I will let you know now.
We'll check, because if you have, we might choose someone else.
Oh yeah, she won a t-shirt already. So
Oh, you already won a t-shirt, Anya.
she's,
So,
very lucky, so we roll again.
you're too lucky. We're going to use Nightbot again.
How do you do that? Win twice? That's never happened.
Okay,
I
so
know
the
already.
winner is Richie Rich 0007. So, Richie Rich, please give us your Twitter handle. Anya, you're only going to win one t-shirt, unfortunately, not two, because we have to be fair.
That's fair.
It's definitely all randomly selected by Nightbot. So, it's just luck.
That's just how it goes.
Statistics. Probability.
Probability.
Okay, just wanted to make these figures pop a little bit off of that
Yeah.
background, so we're throwing another color behind them using the Cezanne brush. That's from the Impressionist set. Okay, so I don't want to do too much more with it, I don't think.
What about the background?
Yeah, I mean, I might paint some light shapes back there just for texture, but I do want it to stand alone as a letter that can be manipulated later on. I want it to be flexible, so I'll add a
I just
layer.
wonder if everyone else does a background and then their letter is the whole square.
Yeah, I don't know. We're all going to be working at a different size, aren't we?
No. Well, I mean,
Everyone's going to do a vertical or
It should be a square.
a square.
Perfect.
Okay.
The thing is, the background's white and it's melding with the background of the page, I think.
So the background is okay. So the image itself is a square. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll paint some stuff back there. Let's see now. All right. Let me start by selecting this red. Well, yeah. We'll start with that.
Nice.
And then I'm going to.
Carlotta, I will ask your
Mhm.
question.
What is the question?
Do you think it's good to have different drawing styles, or is it better to be known by one specific style?
You know, the best way for me to answer that question is for you to read an article I wrote about it. If you do a Google search for the style problem for artists, you'll come up with an article I wrote about that, and I think that'll answer your question. Because it's my personal take on it, and some people might disagree with it, but
I have it, so I will put
did
it
you find the
Oh,
article?
we have the link
Michael's
for the
going
chat.
to put the article link in the chat, okay? So that's a better way for me. It's more,
That's a great answer.
glad I wrote that article.
Yeah. Also, I lost the other question that I had. Oh, so someone asked what the difference is between sketch and draw. So with draw, you're drawing with vectors, so you end up with a vector file.
Mm-hmm.
And here, you're not. That's basically the difference.
Correct. All right. What happened to next set? There we go. Impressionist chunk. Let's try that bad boy out. All right, so throw that on.
And what's this one called?
Impressionist chunk.
Impressionist chunk.
Yeah. So you get.
How
this
are you
sort of-
mixing those colors?
Haha. Well, it just happens. That's why it's such a fun brush.
Wow, I love it.
It just happens by itself. And so you get these instant impressionist brushstroke kind of thingies
So if you
happening.
choose this color that's in your panel on the right, it
Mhm.
just automatically...
It'll automatically pick colors that are slightly warmer, slightly cooler by a very small factor, and then randomly put those colors down so that you approximate the color that you've chosen. It's addictive to paint with these. When I was building them, I was having a hard time not wanting to do all my client work with these, just because they were the newest thing I was working on. And every time I'm working on something new, I just want to use them all the time.
Yeah.
I used the halftones in a editorial assignment. I totally didn't need to use them. I just really wanted to use them, so I did. Yeah.
It's great.
All right, so this is all going to be in a square format, and I'm going to paint this square. And I'm still amazed by how there's just no lag whatsoever when painting with this. I mean, it's a big brush. It's almost 300 pixels. It's doing a lot of thinking to make it do all this cool color stuff, right? But still, nothing.
It's very smart.
Smooth as can be.
So let's talk more about how you create your brushes. Mystical Angel wants to know how you learn to make them. Also, how do you make them? If there's a simple answer.
Well, there isn't a simple answer. I'll just say that, like everything I've learned pretty much in digital art, I'm self-taught in that respect. So I went to school for painting naked people, basically. That's what I did. I was interested
Luckily,
in...
the people here are wearing clothes in this illustration.
Yes, yeah, although I was very tempted to make them naked, but I didn't. No, but I studied life drawing and painting from the figure, in a traditional fine art education environment. And my last semester of school, I was introduced to Photoshop and Flash, and I just was so enamored by those applications that I just started experimenting and just figuring things out on my own. And then the development of the brushes came out of necessity because I was working for a design firm in 2003, and we were asked to create a annual report for the Krispy Kreme donut company. And the CEO at the time really liked certain kind of folk art. There's like a acrylic paint on wood panel sort of thing. And we had a very short deadline to create 6 paintings spreads for this annual report. And I decided I'd figure out a way to do it in Photoshop so that it looked like paint on panel or whatever. And I opened up the brushes panel. I think this at the time was Photoshop version 7 or something, before CS and all that.
Yeah. I don't know, but
anyway,
I think.
So I just started figuring out what do each of these things do and how do I mess around. I would just spend hours fiddling around with it until I got what I wanted, and it became a more of a hobby than anything else, just trying to create different brushes for different purposes. And then when I went out on my own as a freelancer, I was so comfortable working in Photoshop that I just wanted to continue to draw digitally for all my assignment work, and so I created inking tools for myself that felt right for my kind of line drawing. And so that's where I started getting involved in drawing tools, and that just grew into more interested in creating paint, brushes for paint, and then pastel, and I just started building up what I was trying to do is come up with a natural media emulation toolkit of my own, and I assumed everyone was doing the same thing, and it was only through the encouragement of some other artist friends who had borrowed, I gave them my brushes to play around with. They said, you really should make these more widely available and see if you can make a business out of it, because no one else is doing this. It's not normal.
Yeah.
I thought everyone was doing the same thing. So, long story short, I just spent a really unhealthy amount of time with the brush settings and trying to make it do things that you wouldn't expect it to do. And I still do that. I spend hours every day just playing with settings and with different shapes and textures that I build, and seeing what I can make. And a lot of times what I'll make is a pure accident, and it'll look like something. I'll say, oh, hey, that really looks like a really nice oil pastel. So then I'll start, then from that starting point I'll refine it, make a better tool, and that'll eventually wind up being something that I sell. I have brushes that they'll sit around for 6 months before I sell them, because I keep making tiny changes to them every couple weeks or whatever.
Is it hard to name them?
Now it's getting harder because I'm running out of ideas, but that's part of the fun. I go back and forth between naming things in a practical way and then trying to be fun with it. So it depends on the tool. Sometimes I want to be fun. Other times I want it to be clear.
To remember what the name is.
Yeah, it's interesting to try and find that balance.
Someone asked if you can show this brush with a darker color.
Sure.
Just to see what happens. Maybe a dark blue.
Let me zoom in on that so you can see the purples and blues.
purples.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Cool.
Isn't that fun?
Wow. Okay, I have to go home and use this later.
Yeah, there are like 15 or 16 brushes at least in that impressionist set. Maybe it's closer to 18 to 20. I can't remember anymore. And And they all do different things. There's a Syrah brush. I should have brought that in here. Well, the Syrah one's really fun. What else did I bring in here? Anything else from the Impressionist set? No. This foliage brush might do the same thing. I think, let me check it and see with the color. Let me see if this does. Yeah, this'll, so you paint leaves and they...
Can you zoom in to see
the
shape?
Let me do this on a different layer too so I don't... I'll just hide this for a minute. I don't know if you guys can see that. But,
yeah.
you know, lighten it up. Paint on top. So, yeah, that's in the concept brush kit. So, whoops. Don't do that, Kyle. Go back. All right, so we'll delete that layer. Goodbye. All right, let's see.
So,
where were we? Okay, so now I need to do some more stuff with this. I think I need to first. Here's a cool thing you can do. You can move your layers. So I'm going to move this so it feels kind of more centered. How's that feel? It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it looks good on
Pretty
the
good?
screen that I'm looking at.
Up just a touch.
Mm,
And then
maybe to
a
the
little bit.
left.
Yeah.
Hi, Eugene. So this session is going until, so another 40 minutes until 11 PST. And then we have more artists joining us. So today is jam-packed. It's our last day of the 3-day streaming event. And at 11, we have Jeanette Liao and Rob Zilla joining us. And then 1 p.m., we've got Chrissy Chung and Orlando Arocena. And then 3 p.m., Aaron Gallagher. So they're all back, and they're all going to continue to work on this series that is starting with the C that Kyle's creating, and it will spell out a word. A few of you have guessed the word. You're very, very perceptive. Impressed. And the goal is for this to be printed on a t-shirt, as well as all the other stuff that the artists have created this week will be considered to be printed on a t-shirt, such as the one I'm wearing. This is what Kyle created on day 1 in Photoshop Sketch using his brushes. So I've said this a few times, but a lot of you are joining now. We are in Adobe Photoshop Sketch on the iPad using the iPad Pro and Apple Pencil. And we've engineered Photoshop Sketch with this new pre-release to be the Photoshop brush engine on the iPad. And Kyle is so excited to bring in the brushes he's created and work on the iPad. He can work on the go. He can come home, import this file into Photoshop, have the same layers, have the same brush settings, refine it. He can also export stuff from here and use stuff just from Sketch. They look really awesome. And you can get access to these features by emailing us at drawing@adobe.com. And we've had a lot of people already get access and post stuff on Twitter. It's really exciting. Please post stuff on Twitter with the hashtag AdobeLive. We've been looking at stuff throughout the day. This is shaping up pretty well.
I mean, I need more contrast, so I'm going to either lighten everything in the back or darken it. I'm not sure which. But first I just want to... By the way, what I'm doing right now, in case anybody's interested, is using the Paint Inside layer function, which is the same as in Photoshop, locking the transparency of your layer. So once I've painted a shape, I can paint inside that shape freely and not worry about going outside the edges of it.
So you click on the layer, and then how do you change
And then it says Paint Inside. It's at the very bottom. It has the option. There's a little slider. You turn that on or off. It's on if you see it bling blue. And now I can just freely paint, and it will only paint inside that shape that I've already got painted. So that's extremely convenient.
Mm-hmm. It seems like a park in the summer where people are just hanging out. Some of them are doing yoga, maybe.
Sure. Yeah, they're not giving each other much space, are they? But that's okay. It'd be weird when you hit this huge expanse of grass and someone came and sat right next to you in a park. What would you do? How would that make you feel weird?
I don't know. It's like being on the bus and people sitting next to you, and then like you're on the window seat so you can't get out.
Yeah, that's a little bad.
But then there's all these other seats.
I don't get that.
It's happened to me. We're in San Francisco. The buses are crazy here.
Is this some kind of a power play? Are they trying to like... I don't understand that.
I don't know. I think most of the time they're just not thinking too much.
How personal space works.
Roseanne emailed drawing@adobe.com, and then you can get access to this pre-release of Photoshop Sketch.
All right. Do I have a plan? No, I do not. Just so you're wondering. In case you're wondering, I'm not... Nothing here is planned. This is just...
It's live.
See what happens.
Pearly Cream Cheese says, C is for crowded. That's a good one.
It's true in this case, yeah, for sure. Alright, now what happens if I just do this? Just lighten everything up.
What is this brush?
The Impressionist Chunk
Are
brush,
you
but I'm using
it clear?
very light pressure.
Oh,
I'm painting with white, and I'm just using very, very light pressure. So let's just... Let me zoom in. You'll see there's a canvas texture that's built into that brush.
Wow.
Can you see the canvas there?
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully this will be enough to make that C pop. I'm just kind of glazing over everything I just painted here.
So did you need to do anything to your brushes in order for them to be able to appear on Sketch?
Nope.
Okay, so all the settings that you had for Photoshop are just the same.
Right, and that's why I just really want to give so much credit to the developers and the people on the team at Adobe who worked to make that seamless. It's amazing that I save a tool preset in Photoshop. I come over to Sketch, which is a different application entirely, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet, the tool does exactly what it's supposed to do. The brush behaves the same way. It retains all of the same properties. And I can just work with it exactly as I would in Photoshop. I mean, it's really insane how cool that is. I can't believe it. It's something that I've been hoping for over a year. We first talked about this possibility at the Make It on Mobile Summit almost exactly 1 year ago. And here it is. And I can finally stop answering emails from customers saying, when are you going to get your brushes in Sketch? Ta-da!
Finally. Think Daz is asking, if you were creating a concept visual for a client of this C, would you simply show this version or do a quick mock-up?
Well, anytime I do client work, I always do a sketch, and I do a rough sketch, because there's no reason to spend a lot of time on an idea that's going to get killed, So I show a rough. I'll try and spend as little time as possible, still making an image that is acceptable for review, So I sketch very, very quickly these days, for stuff like that, so I can not waste time. But I think my sketches are very legible, They're easy to read, and that's important.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I don't spend a lot of time on them.
We're down to the 30-minute mark.
Okay.
Only 30 minutes left of this session.
Well, I think
the 3 days passed really fast.
They did, yeah. I think I'll be in good shape though with this. I should be fine.
Yeah.
In that amount of time.
It looks
It's
really
working out.
good.
Cool, thank you. I'm gonna use a little bit more of that yellow. I like that yellow.
So if you were doing a little mock-up, a quick thing to show someone, how would you get the textures across to show your final concept? Does that make sense? I'm
You're
trying to
saying like if I did a
translate
rough
questions.
sketch, would I actually show a small sample of what the final would look like? I think that's
Yeah.
what you're getting at. This all depends on the project. A lot of the times, those decisions with texture or some kind of finishing element don't come into play until I'm actually working on the final, and then I just hope that the client likes it. I like to think that after working for as long as I've been working, I won't make it a style decision that's not in keeping with what the client was probably expecting. So I'm not going to do something really weird and experimental if they're not asking for something weird and experimental. I'll probably keep things normal.
Do you think this C is weird?
No. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's cool and
Okay.
experimental. I don't think it's weird, but I'm just wondering if this is something you would
Oh,
send. If someone said, do a C for me, I want it to
Huh.
be for a logo or for my company.
yeah.
If you weren't sure what their concept was, would you send something like this, or is it too
I don't know.
out there?
This was this was something we just talked about this morning, and so this is what we came up with. But it would depend, like if the client were, like, who's the client? Is it a library, like a library? Is it for the section where they keep all the picture books and stuff? That might be kind of a fun image for something like
Yeah.
that, something kind of whimsical or just kind of cute and comfortable, It depends so much on what the subject matter is. It depends on where is the art going to live, Is it in a library, or is it in I don't
Is
know.
it
I
like
can't
a
think of it.
corporate thing?
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Wants to be
Like,
more
that changes everything,
structured.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the majority of your clients? Margaret's asking. Editorial, advertising.
Used to be mostly editorial. Now it's just spread evenly across editorial, advertising, and books. And occasionally, very occasionally, I'll design original characters for a brand. I'm in the middle of doing a one right now that's really interesting, and I can't talk about it, unfortunately. But I will say it's an animal,
Oh.
and it's been super fun to work on that, and I can't wait for that to be something I can share. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you said your halftone brushes will be free for those that buy the screen tones?
That's correct.
What's the difference between the halftones and the screen tones?
Screen tones are just a flat tone that you paint, and you have no control over how close together the dots are, or how
Okay.
So the halftones actually, with pressure, allow you to change the depth of that pattern. I'm not sure what else to say with pressure.
Okay.
So what I'm painting with right now is one of those brushes. For example, if I turn off, let me go to a new layer.
So Joanna, I hope you're listening. I think that was your question.
All right, so watch. Here's light pressure, dark, 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 heavy, 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 heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So that's this one I call parquet. So you've got all this control. It's
Yeah,
just
that's awesome.
really fun. They're kind of addictive.
Hi, Serge.
All right, let's grab this again, and we will go back here.
Do you fix a price before you start a project, or do you charge per hour?
Never.
or
I
amount of
never
time?
charge per hour. Never.
Okay.
I always negotiate a flat fee for the work, and I write very, very clear contracts that explain what I'm doing for that amount of money. So, in other words, I'll say I'm doing exactly 3 sketches. If you approve one of those 3, I will do a color sketch. If that's something that is required. This is usually for advertising, If none of the 3 rough sketches work and you need additional sketches, there's an extra fee. If you make more changes to my final art, or request changes to the final art that are greater than, say, me having to change 10% of the image, which is kind of hard to explain, but it's important to put all this information in there. Then you're going to have to pay this much more, etc. So by very clearly outlining what's expected for the amount of money that's in the budget or whatever, then everybody starts on the same page and the process goes very smoothly and there are no surprises in the end. The last thing you want is a surprise. You don't want someone to say, if you're supposed to draw a 3-headed dragon and you finish the art and they say, we want 4 heads. You want there to be something in the contract that says, well, now you're going to pay me another $500 because I got to draw another dragon head, So
that's true.
Yeah.
This feature, I really like the one you're using to drag the color and find the right color.
Yeah, that's it's the color picker. You just click and drag, and that's,
It saves
I like how
so
it magnifies
much time
the art too.
and
Yeah,
thought.
it's quite cool.
Very easy.
It's a smart idea.
Yeah. So Margaret's wondering, since you've traveled all over the world, is there a certain culture that you feel has influenced your work?
Boy, that's a really hard question to answer. I think there's just so much that I've seen. It must make its way in there somehow, but I'm not able to really pinpoint specifically where one thing might come from versus another.
Yeah.
I that's a great question, and I wish I had a better answer. Growing up in Pakistan and Singapore and Taiwan, and just being exposed to so many cultures and very different religious beliefs and things like that, you just see that everybody is the same and yet very different, and I think it's important for people. I think I said this on the first day. You got to get out and see something different from what you're used to give you a little perspective and get out of your bubble a little bit. And it's healthy. It's important now more than ever. I
definitely.
think, and I really think Americans need to get out.
Please
and see
travel.
the world. Yeah, and if you have the means, I know it's not cheap to get out, but if you do have the means.
Yeah.
If you have a choice, go and
you can also travel by watching the news in different countries, reading about, we're very focused on what's happening in our own lives.
You're right.
But if you go to Europe or, I'm from Greece. In Greece, our news is world news.
Yeah.
It's like, what's happening in Greece and then the rest of the world. And my grandma calls me, we talk every day, and she tells me what she saw about American news that I didn't see. She's like, I just saw this that happened in, Texas. And I'm like, how do you know this? And I haven't seen it. So, people are really well informed in other parts of the world, and it's very valuable to travel or just try to have your mind travel somehow.
You make such a good point about just reading from another point of view, news from another point of view. Listen to radio from another country. You can tune in for free online to so many radio stations from outside the U.S. and or just outside wherever you live. It's just really, it's healthy. Healthy.
Margaret's visiting Greece in May. That's exciting.
Oh, excellent.
Have fun. Where are my Greeks in the chat? I don't see any of you today.
Where are the Greeks?
So we're using a lot of different brushes here. Do you remember how many different brushes you used?
I have no idea. I'm really just being
maybe
crazy at this point.
10?
At least.
Between 10 and 15. So Kyle's using all of his brushes that you can find on KyleBrush.com in Photoshop Sketch. If any of you are joining right now, we are just finishing up this C. It's part of a series. The rest of the illustrators that are going to be, and artists that are going to be joining the live stream in the rest of the day will continue doing different letters. And we've come to the third day of this live stream event. We've told you a couple times, just to reiterate, you can now bring in Photoshop brushes onto the iPad using Photoshop Sketch. And Kyle's had a lot of fun doing this. We've created a few things over the past couple days, and you can too. So you can get access to this pre-release. Bring all your Photoshop brushes into Sketch by emailing drawing@adobe.com. This is available so far on iOS. Sketch is available on Android, but we don't have this pre-release yet. But it's available on your iPad. Please email us at drawing@adobe.com to get this access. And we can't wait to see what you create. Whatever you make, please show it on Twitter with the hashtag AdobeLive, this hashtag right here. And we'll be looking at it. The next live stream we have at 11 a.m. Pacific is with Jeanette Liao and Rob Zilla. So stay tuned. And then we have a lot more coming. Jürgen says, I'm not Greek, I'm from Belgium, but I'm here for you, Ariadne. Thank you. I need some people to be here for me.
We got fans.
Pearly Cream Cheese says, I dated a Greek boy once.
It's good.
Hope that it was a good experience for you.
Once.
Just once, though. Lucas, I'm also happy that our comments are great. We have a lot of interesting people. This audience is so talented and so just genuinely
engaged.
Genuinely
they're-
interested.
People really
Totally.
like art as much as we do, and they want to talk about it. I love that.
Yeah. So I don't know this answer, Patrick, if you can add or remove individual brushes that you've imported from a TPL file. It seems like the whole file gets imported.
Oh, what
together.
a good question. David should be the one to answer that.
Yeah,
He's
do
not
we
in the room.
have-
Is David here?
He might be on the chat.
I wonder if he is. He would know the answer to that question, and I do not know. That's a good question. I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, now we will definitely try to find out so
Yeah.
that we know for ourselves too.
Yeah, Great question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where is that? How much time do I have, by the way? How am I doing?
You have just under 20 minutes.
Oh, I got so much time.
I know. Today has been a lot easier to finish.
12.
Oh, 12?
We end at 55.
Oh, we end at the 5-2.
Oh,
So 12 minutes.
is that so
Yeah.
I have time to get to the airport?
Do you wear credit cards?
Elliot, yes, you are nearly Greek. As long as you enjoy being in Greece, I would say you're nearly Greek.
So for the we give away a credit card subscription. Because this is a live stream, they have to type a sentence with a Kyle. And they have
Okay.
to say something
Okay.
about Kyle.
So, we are giving away our Creative Cloud subscription now that we're nearing the end of the stream. So, in order to be in the running to win Creative Cloud, all you have to do is type a sentence into the chat with Kyle's name in it. So you can say, Kyle, you're the best. I love your brushes, Kyle.
Please be nice.
It has to be, yeah.
It's
I
the
mean, you
internet.
should be
I don't
nice.
expect,
But make sure that you put Kyle's name in that sentence and then type it into the chat, and then Nightbot will randomly choose a winner to win Creative Cloud. Let's see the chat go wild. It's starting. Someone talk. Oh, Pearly Cream Cheese says, loving feta cheese. Yes.
Feta.
How can you
What?
get better than feta cheese?
Oh, it's back to the Greek
yeah.
theme. Okay,
You're
I was
like,
trying
why
to
are we
figure out what we're
talking
talking
about
about. I was very confused there for a minute.
Kyle is like feta cheese.
Yeah. What does that mean?
It's
Michael?
not a new brush by Kyle, but
The
maybe
feta
it
cheese
could
brush someday.
Check.
be. You could have different cheeses that you can smear. We're just getting hungry now. Okay, all the comments are very nice.
That's good.
I brought butt brushes from Kyle. I love them.
Oh, good.
Kyle's the best.
Oh, good.
You're an amazing artist.
Oh, thank you.
Kyle is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Somebody spelled that right?
They
deserve a prize just for that.
Was that Flavia, I think? That was pretty impressive. Good job. Oh, my soul says, I think you said that the other day, that you're the Yoda of the brush world.
No, that's very kind. Thank you. Alright, so I'm going to use the ruler really quickly here. Come here, you.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget the shapes. Okay, everyone, thanks for putting those sentences in. Nightbot's going to choose the winner randomly right now. Margaret Fu, you won. Good job. Make sure you post your Twitter handle in the chat. So now you're just making a clean line.
Using the ruler to do this. It's a really handy tool.
Very handy.
Oops. I'll do that.
Did you have to, when you were in training, do freehand straight lines and circles and
circles, yeah, and ovals. So there's a well-known warm-up exercise students have to do sometimes, and that I had to do, and I make my own students do it, much to their, they don't really like it, many of them, but
yeah, it's
where you
not
have
the
to draw
most
ovals
interesting
and-
thing to
yeah.
do.
That's good though. Trains your hand, you know.
Yeah.
It's important. That's trained.
Kyle is God.
Whoa, careful.
That's Daniel.
That's
I think it's
that's nice.
the cattail Daniel from yesterday.
Oh, I'm just a guy who spends a lot of time in Photoshop. Nothing divine about that. All right,
Nice.
so yeah, I want to leave some of it kind of still a little bit
Yeah.
ratty on the sides, you know, not perfect, but.
I think that voice was only once the Yoda voice. I don't know if he's gonna do it again.
Oh, I didn't do so well. Yeah.
Thought it was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, Anya, that would be cool.
What?
She's saying because we have to keep asking for the Twitter handles. We wish they were just there, but this is your YouTube, your Google sign-in name.
All right,
Yeah.
one final thing. I'm going to
Hi, Patricia.
change
Hi,
this,
Brian the Lion.
change this line art to paint inside, and I'm going to sample that blue, green color, whatever that is. Bring it down, saturate it a little more, and get that a little more like this.
So we have less than 10 minutes left.
How much time do we have?
We have seven minutes.
5 minutes.
Every time it's less than I think. 5 minutes left.
No problem.
This was my first live stream. It was really fun. It was
You did great.
to get to know you.
It was my first one too.
Really?
First one here on at Adobe. I've done a couple, remotely, with screen sharing, but first time I've ever actually come out here and done this. So I enjoyed
Yeah.
it very much, and thank you, Adobe, for having me.
Yeah, it was great having you. And it was so great to get to know everybody in the audience. Even though I can't see you, I know you're there. And thanks everyone for joining.
All right, one final step. I think this looks pretty good. Hope you all enjoyed watching that. Let's see all the people we got.
Okay,
all
so
these
we've got the
folks.
bookworm, the yoga man, the fetal position man.
Yeah.
The ballerina.
Some kind of Abe Lincoln person. I don't know what this is. There's me at the bottom. Why not? And a very large cat. Because I had to fill out that space. Whoa.
I don't know what. Oh, it's
From
a
out of the
t-shirt.
sky. From out of the sky. Look
That's
at that.
For you. Is
I
this
think that's for my little girl.
Size 10.
That's for my little girl.
Perfect.
Thank you.
She's
that's
gonna
be
love it.
Really neat.
And Minu will love seeing her in it too.
That is fun. Super cool, super cool. I just noticed
Thanks,
I need
Jürgen.
to delete some more of that right there. Let's get that brush down and let's...
So Elliot, Kyle showed a lot of how he works with color digitally. He's asking what your favorite process is to create for collecting cohesive color palettes.
I talked about that on the first stream. If you go to the
Yeah.
replay at Adobe Live, you can hear me talk about how I get colors that work. I didn't do it today, but I normally...
he has a really cool process that he mixes colors right in. He was mixing them right in Sketch and then sampling them, and that worked really well to create a harmonious blend of colors in the piece. So I recommend you check that out from Tuesday.
Yeah, that will clear things up for you. We're gonna go to clear. Goodbye. And we're just gonna clear away a few edges here, bits and pieces.
Hey
of it.
Paul, what machine do you use to print these shirts?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oki?
Yeah, it's a Japanese.
Printer.
Oh, Oki printer, Mary.
It's a special paper with also white cartridge. So you can print on a colored shirt and stuff like that. That's what makes it
Oh.
special.
Oh, it's special because it has a white cartridge.
That is really
So
slick.
you could paint on a
Yeah.
print on a blue shirt and then still have the white
And
show.
that's the base layer is typically going to be white, so it follows.
Nice. So everybody stay tuned. We have the next people coming on. Jeanette Liao. She's already here.
All right, I'm gonna sign this, and
And Robzilla.
That's it.
Late.
Rob is late. He'll be coming. And we still have the same schedule
So
as
he
the
text-
other
He
days.
texted me, Paul. Rob,
He did.
you'll be like that.
Do
Minute.
we have 1 minute left?
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you so much, Kyle.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for
Kyle's
having
signing
me.
his work,
Just
and it's
signed
all
it,
ready.
and that's
That was really awesome.
there. It is. If you want to show the last little bit. Ta-da! Okay.
Yay! Thanks
Hey!
so much for joining, everybody. It's been so fun. We loved it. And now we're best friends.
Best friends.
And Minu.
Oh, and Minu is our
The
friend.
family.
Hello, meow.
Bye!
Thanks, everyone, and I'll see you online.
See you soon.
Meow meow.